Hola, this is Shelly Martinez, and you are listening to another wrestling podcast.
It's time for another wrestling podcast with your hosts, Steve Credo and Jonathan Benjamin.
All right. Welcome to episode 23. This is another wrestling podcast. Do you know the other one? And that other one over there? This is just another wrestling podcast. I'm Steve Credo. Jonathan, are you there?
Oh, I'm here. I'm excited. I'm pumped. I'm ready. Number 23. I never thought someone owes me $1 out there because they told me we'd never get past, 2 or 3, and now we're at 23.
That's right, Jonathan. I can't believe we made this little milestone. There's a lot in store, Jonathan. We're back on the road to the November to Remember, not pay-per-view, just the month to remember ECW, to remember hardcore stuff, Jonathan. Hardcore wrestling, House of Hardcore 7 coming up this Saturday. Jonathan, let's talk about some ECW memories.
Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to, especially now with the internet, the network, you can rewatch a lot of these moments, and WWE just had a ECW Exposed the other night, and it lets you kind of take a stroll down memory lane. And I have several favorite hardcore moments. I think that as far as ECW goes, this one wasn't as hardcore as it was just like something that I never thought I would see. And I don't know if you remember this or not, but it's the time when a WWF wrestler beat a WCW wrestler to win the ECW title. Do you know what I'm talking about here?
Of course I know what you're talking about, Jonathan, but tell me more about what you're talking about.
So everybody remembers Mike Awesome. He was a mainstay in ECW for a while. He was the ECW champion. This was during the Monday Night Wars era, and he had just signed with WCW. So there was a lot of back and forth between Paul Heyman, since his dad was a lawyer and everything else, and everyone decided that he would lose a match so ECW could get the title back, because everybody was afraid that people were going to take the titles and dump them in the trash, a la Alundra Blaze, Medusa. So ECW wanted Taz to take the belt away from Awesome, and Taz was in WWF at the time. So Vince loved the idea of having one of his wrestlers beating the WCW wrestler, and he wanted, then I think what ended up happening is it was in Indianapolis. They flew Taz to there. They had Mike Awesome there, and then all of a sudden the match happened. Taz won. He was then the ECW champion, and to me, that's just the epitome of craziness. But you look at ECW, it was such a amazing promotion, and a lot of people looked down on it and said it wasn't that great and everything like that. But at the end of the day, you had the two biggest companies in the world clamoring over each other, trying to make a name off of the ECW brand. So it's not necessarily hardcore, but I think it's just a testament to how impactful ECW was.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's a great story. I remember watching that too. Great moment. It's amazing how this one company, because there's so many companies out there, just nobody ever talks about it anymore. I mean, go back to even like AWA or anything, any other place. Like no other promotion had that tier of being like that number 3, you know what I mean? To where they had such an impact that they didn't last as long as they should have. But I don't know, maybe they just ran out of fuel, ran out of steam doing all these hardcore matches. I mean, like, what else could you do at a certain point? But they definitely, I think, set the bar for what we see as professional wrestling today. Like we mentioned last week with Tommy Dreamer on the show, we're talking a little bit about House of Hardcore and ECW. It's definitely interesting to to understand, to realize how long, they've been in people's memories, to where you go to stadiums and shows now, anywhere you go, people are still chanting, like we said it, ECW, and nobody else has been doing that, Jonathan. I mean, the testament of time, to where, people can go to all these shows, still chant ECW. It's annoying sometimes, but at another time, it's like you want them to chant the name of, your own promotion or whatever's around here. And they don't do it. They still chant ECW because someone's doing something hardcore. Even those memories, just things like that stand with you. Just 3 simple letters, Jonathan, how it stood the test of time, right?
Yeah, and these folks were all, it was almost like a band of brothers, an army of sin. At a time they were all together. If you look at everybody in ECW, they're a who's who of professional wrestling legends. You've got everybody from Tommy Dreamer, Balls Mahoney, Sandman, the Dudleys, Raven, Taz, the FBI, Bam Bam Bigelow was there, Terry Funk, Cactus Jack, Public Enemy. I mean, these are all names that ended up going on from ECW to either WCW, WWF. And I can't say that for any other promotion. If TNA closes its doors tomorrow, people may never leave TNA.
Yeah.
They may never make it to WWE or even Ring of Honor for that matter. So I think that it's a testament to not only how great the promotion was, but how great they were trained.
That's right. Speaking of training, Jonathan, I mean, when it comes down to it, too, a lot of these guys, that are wrestling today, their trainers are the guys we grew up with, like the Tommy Dreamers. We also have Poughkeepsie's own, we have Vik Dalishus and Hale Collins, who are the trainers at House of Hardcore, who are going to be joining us in a few moments. And, we talked or touched a little bit about, as if you go to a school. Last week we were talking with Tommy Dreamer that if you go to a school, you leave that school's on your resume. You know what I mean? Like, hi, my name's Steve Credo. I trained at, so-and-so place, House of Hardcore. People that know Tommy Dreamer and his reputation, that is like a signature of endorsement, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to a school, you graduated, you're wrestling for all these other people. They know you're coming from this reputable place. What are your thoughts? I mean, on like what the generation we grew up with are now training the future of tomorrow, Jonathan. I mean, that's what I'm trying to get into is House of Hardcore up here in Poughkeepsie.
Yeah, I think if you look back, the only place that there was 2 places that I heard about growing up where people would be like, oh, they trained here or they trained there. Number one, after Shawn Michaels kind of hurt his back and was out for a while, he started a school. And I remember it was the Shawn Michaels Wrestling Academy. And that's actually where Daniel Bryan trained. That's also where Brian Kendrick trained and Lance Cade. So I remember hearing a lot about that. And then the one that I heard, everybody's heard 1,000 times, is the Hard Dungeon. So the Hard Dungeon produced everybody. The Hearts, it produced Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, even people today like Natalia, Tyson Kidd, D.H. Smith. So I think that carries so much weight. Like, oh, where did you train? You trained at the Hart House. Okay, here's your, you can start on Monday. So I think with House of Hardcore, Tommy Dreamer, Hale Collins, Vik Dalishus, I think that this is the stepping stone for a lot of these people. They can be a good wrestler, they can be good on the mic, but also at the end of the day, if they say that they were trained at House of Hardcore, that's gonna do well for them.
Yeah, definitely. And even keeping up with the ECW aspect of it, I know we keep talking about ECW. There were many other promotions, Jonathan, I don't know if you remember them, that were coming out right after right after ECW got big. I think one of them, I can't remember the name. They were in California. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think it's UPW that you're talking about.
Yeah, there's I forget. Anyway, there's a few that kind of copycatted after ECW and tried to do nothing but, hardcore stuff, and it kind of stuck for like a few weeks to where you just didn't want to watch it anymore. But I don't know, it was something about ECW that, it was it was more, more than just what we were seeing on TV. It was like it was like the first reality show of wrestling in a way. I mean, when you watch wrestling today, you see all, the gimmicks and dancing bears and, hula hoop contests or whatever. When you watch DCW, it was like your two friends doing something else besides in a backyard. You know what I mean? Like, it was indoor. This is like boxing meets wrestling meets, you know what I mean, MMA stuff. Like, it seemed different. It seemed real. It was the first reality show, I think, of wrestling, and that's what I think kind of got people hooked. It was no more clowns, no more this and that you saw in WWE, but now you're seeing, like, regular Joes get in the ring and fight each other.
Yeah, and it wasn't. I mean, that's the biggest thing is what you were mentioning. Everybody, whenever they look back at ECW, the first thing that they think of is blood and violence and guts and gore. But at the end of the day, they had great wrestling matches. They were the first of their kind with some of these storylines that have carried on over till today, and they were really ahead of the curve on a lot of this stuff. The first lesbian kiss angle. Shane Douglas tossing the NWA title down and declaring it the ECW, it's all that stuff is really amazing that they did.
Yeah, definitely. I want to read you a little quote right now from the Tommy Dreamer. It's on his House of Hardcore site, houseofhardcore.net. This is regarding his school, Tommy Dreamer's House of Hardcore Wrestling Academy. One of his quotes says, quote, hardcore isn't about blood, barbed wire, and tables. It was always and will always be about a competitor giving everything they have physically, mentally, emotionally in their match. Quote, Tommy Dreamer. That's a strong quote because, I mean, that's what we were just saying is that, ECW isn't about, just barbed wire and blood and all this other stuff, Okay, yes, they had it on there for obvious reasons, but I think ECW was the first time we actually saw people, physically, mentally, and emotionally, like Tommy Dreamer just said in his quote, in their match, That was first time we saw Eddie Guerrero versus Dean Malenko versus each other, you know what I mean? To where they started bringing in luchadors, Rey Mysterio, until WCW bought them. But, these people were putting on great matches you've probably never seen in the U.S. before. And that's something that WWE or WCW was not doing at that time. In my generation, I mean, a lot of you listening out there probably, can name all these other things growing up back in the day, NWA, AWA, whatever. You know what I'm saying, Jonathan? To where this was our generation's newest thing. I don't know how to really say that any other way but that way. Yeah,
I mean, anybody who was a fan of ECW and didn't really stop after ECW closed, they got the Attitude Era, they got the NWO, they got a more edgy product, and this was an effect of ECW. So even though ECW's closed its doors and it's been out of business now for about 13 years, we see this happening still in, there's CZW, there's now House of Hardcore, and several other promotions that have a more hardcore style, but also they're edgier and they're actually listening to what the fans want. And I think that Paul Heyman was a revolutionary whenever he came out and told the fans, this person didn't show up, this person did, this person, really wants to wrestle for us. Should we have him? And I think that most promotions today would do well to do what they did back in ECW.
Yes, definitely. Now, Jonathan, would you ever train to be a pro wrestler? Not like I don't think you could do it every day. I certainly can't do it every day. But I mean, just go to a school, try it out, see what's going on. Would you get in the ring just to try it for a day?
I would love to. I would absolutely love to. I think that anybody who's as big a fan as you or me or anybody that's listening right now should at least try it once just to get in there. I mean, because after all, at the end of the day, there's probably no better feeling than like climbing in that ring and just like, even if you're getting the crap kicked out of you, you've got to just think to yourself, this is exactly what the 10-year-old me would have wanted. So,
well, Jonathan, now that you said that, I am opening a challenge for me and you to visit the House of Hardcore Wrestling Academy in the near future, and I want us to train to be a wrestler. What do you say?
I think that's a great and terrible idea all at the same time.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. We're going to try it. Now, we're going to have trainers, Vik Dalishus and Hale Collins of the House of Hardcore Wrestling Academy, coming up soon. Check them out. Stay tuned for this, where we get really in depth with them about the House of Hardcore, about their school, about the shows that have been going on, and basically just about them and who they are, in case you're listening and don't know. But Jonathan, man, we have to film it. I think this has to be our first video we show to the world. We have to go train at a wrestling school and show everybody what two fans would be willing to do. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Do you think we would make it, or do you think we're just going to get chopped insanely crazy? I don't know.
I'm one of those people that once I put my mind to something, even though I'm not going to be the greatest thing that's ever happened, but I'm not going to quit either. So they're pretty much going to have to just wipe the floor with me before I say, okay, I can't do this anymore. So.
Well, maybe we can make a great tag team. Maybe you could be the Shawn Michaels, I'll be the Diesel. We can go back into the 90s. And
I was going to say the Jannetty, but yeah, okay.
hey, we all know about the Jannetty episode we did. There's still debate about who's the real Jannetty here. But anyway, Jonathan, maybe we could do it. We'll have to bring it to all you guys and gals out there listening to the show.
Credo, I think that 2015 is going to be our year. We're going to get in the ring. We're going to show everybody what we got, and I smell gold in our future.
That's it, man. It should be great. Should be something worth seeing, checking out, telling your friends, telling your family. We're doing it. We're going to have fun, and I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm scared now, actually. I don't know if I'm going to do it.
Well, nothing like backing out right at the beginning, but I think we should talk to our guests now that are in the Another Wrestling Podcast studios. We have none other than Vik Dalishus and Hale Collins joining us today.
All right, joining us tonight, we have Poughkeepsie's own Vik Dalishus and Hale Collins joining us. Guys, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks for having me.
All right. Guys, we're from Poughkeepsie. You're from Poughkeepsie. For everybody listening out there tonight, they're going to get to know who Vik Dalishus is, who Hale Collins is, in case they don't know. If we can get right into it, maybe give the fans out there a little brief introduction to maybe who you are, how you got started, and we'll go from there. So, Vik, take it away. Let everybody know who Vik Dalishus is.
All right. Well, hello, everybody out there. Thank you very much for having me on your podcast. Very proud of what you guys have become. You're doing an excellent job with Another Wrestling Podcast. I'm very excited to see how far you guys have come. You're doing a great job, so kudos to both of you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Who I am a guy who loved wrestling his whole life, watched it growing up, all that good stuff. As soon as high school, well, actually, I guess we should start with the fact that the other guy on the phone, Hale Collins, him and I were good friends all throughout high school. We had, dueling high school wrestling leagues where we would mess with each other in the hall. Can I curse? Am I allowed to curse?
You can say anything you want.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, so we'd fuck with each other in the hallway, and I'd call him stupid names, he'd call me stupid names, and all that other stuff. So I went on for a long time, and I went away to college. I played football up in Utica, New York. Started a college football team at Utica College. And then I did that for about a year, and then my parents came to visit me at school and brought me a newspaper article from the Post-Star up in Lake George. They had a wrestling school in Schenectady. And I had just gone to a Monday Night Raw and saw a couple locals have some matches there. And I was like, well, shit, those guys wrestle at that place, and they train people, and those guys get on TV, so that's where I should go. So I would drive down to Utica, and from Utica to Schenectady, and do my whole deal and try to learn how to be a wrestler. I went to OVW down in Kentucky after I got, first initially trained in Schenectady, and then I did Dr. Tom camps and all that good stuff. And I got noticed, did some dark matches. I actually wrestled Sean O'Hare in my very first dark match for WWE before I went to OVW. Shane McMahon was our agent for the match, which was very odd and strange. And then the next day I wrestled Dave Danger, who wrestles up in World of Hurt Wrestling. And I have a victory over him in a WWE ring, a WWE victory. Yep, that's right. And then many losses after that. I did OVW for a couple of years. Then I wrestled for WWE, doing dark matches and things like that. Then I started the Now with my long-lost good friend, good close personal, long-time friend, Hale Collins. We did the Now. We rock and rolled it. Best tag team there ever was and ever will be. Took over Poughkeepsie. Started House of Hardcore with Tommy Dreamer. We run the wrestling school now. And hopefully coming to a town near you.
All right.
You got some of that?
Yeah. Now, Vic, that was pretty descriptive. Now, Hale, was your career started similarly, or how did you get into the business?
Like Vic, I was a wrestling fan my whole life. I started watching wrestling probably age around 4. I built my own ring when I was 9, plywood and rope and some metal poles. Then I remade the ring at 12. I made another wrestling ring when I was 15. I made another wrestling ring when I was 17. And then I really wanted to go to wrestling school, but my parents would not let me because they thought it was foolish. So I was a huge ECW fan. Nobody was a bigger fan than me at the time. So I just did a lot of research on wrestling schools, which one would be the best for me, because I wanted to go to the best one. And the one that showed me the most interest was Unpredictable Johnny Rod's wrestling school in Brooklyn at Gleason's Boxing Gym. Now, the reason why it stood out so much is because I saw the alumni. It was Tommy Dreamer, it was Yvonne Dudley, Bill DeMott, Hugh Morris, Damien Demento, and a bunch of others, Taz. I mean, the list goes on, and they're all in ECW. And I'm like, well, the only place I ever wanted to go wrestle at that time was ECW. So I was like, that's the place for me. So I just August 3rd, the day after my 18th birthday, I told my parents I was going to work, but really I was sneaking down to Brooklyn, 2.5 hours there and 2.5 hours back. I would get there at 10 a.m. and then I would leave at around 7:30, 8 p.m. and come back on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Long days. I was getting beat up by a lot of grizzled men, a lot of grizzled, bitter men. I was there with Prince Nana, Boogaloo, Lowrider. I was there with Matt Striker. Those are the guys I really spent a lot of time with there. And then the thing that broke me out of the school, because I was there for 3 years. I didn't really do much because when you go to Johnny Rod's, you don't really leave the school until he gives you his blessing. But he knew I lived really far, so he was just like, "Yo, just do your thing, see what's out there." So I just started going to Dr. Tom camps, and the first Dr. Tom camp, I saw Mr. Vik Dalishus for the first time after high school and after over 3 years, and we just stayed in touch. I just kept wrestling in the past. He went down to OVW. I just kept doing my thing, and then we started the tag team in 2005 and tagged all over the country, and just really started taking over Poughkeepsie around 2007.
All right. Now you guys touched on the Now. You guys are the hometown heroes. You had a little bit of a falling out, but can you tell us anything about the Now? Vic, what's happening?
Well, I would say it was a little bit more than a falling out. I smashed him in the face with a steel chair. I then beat him up at the Civic Center. Made him bleed worse than he bled. Had Bret Hart get involved, put me in a sharpshooter. Earl Hebner helped fix the wrong that was done to me. So we had a nice little feud going on right there. But, we're also open to doing this now thing one more time. Just because it was so good. I've beaten the shit out of him, he's beaten the shit out of me. We've been at wrestling school teaching kids for 2 years. Like, we've had the best matches we've ever had are matches that nobody's ever seen. Mm-hmm. Matches that have been going on inside of a empty Mid-Hudson Civic Center for the last 2 years. And it's just been getting better and better and better. And I think maybe the time could be now to see another run at things. We're a little bit older, a little bit wiser, and sometimes you don't know when your time is now until the time is now.
All right, so what we're hearing is that we're going to see the return of Poughkeepsie's favorite tag team, the Now guys. Jonathan, what do you think about that?
I've seen as someone that came into the Poughkeepsie scene a little late, I guess. I saw a start of when they were tag team, but then I also got to see you guys feud, and there were some amazing matches. I'm looking forward to this rekindling of a tag team, and you guys should be lucky to see some of these matches. Do you guys have your sights set on any specific tag teams, or are you just hoping to, get in and hit the ground running?
I just like to get in, hit the ground running. I want to just show everyone how good we were and how good we are, because I feel like when we were a tag team, we peaked. Like we were just wrestling everybody, and it just came to a halt because we just wrestled everybody and just got repetitive. And now there's a lot of new exciting tag teams out there, and they put a lot of heart into themselves. So I really like to take advantage of that and wrestle and see who really is the best.
I just think it was a really good political answer that Hale gave right there. But the fact of the matter is, I think we're better than everybody. And when you put the two of us against anybody's in the world right now, there's nobody better than us. I was at SmackDown. I was in there as an extra just 1 month ago, October 7th.
That's right.
Part of the Rosebuds, and I was part of a tryout. And I got to see what's out there, what people are doing, what the gimmicks are, what the best guys they brought in for a tryout in Philadelphia in front of William Regal. I got to see what's out there. And I got to tell you, I can't wait to be the Now in front of some people. But it doesn't mean it's going to happen right away. We'll see how much interest there is and all those things. We may even still be fighting each other at House of Hardcore coming up in Philadelphia. I'm not sure what the plans are, but I don't know if we're going to be on the same team or not. It's going to be the plans for that are kind of crazy and all over the place. You never know where Tommy Dreamer's head's going to go. I've had this is like the seventh one, I think. I've seen his mind change 1,000 different times between build up to a show and then the day of the show. So you don't know what's going to happen. So, we'll see what the future holds for us as far as House of Hardcore, and then working the scene, Daddy.
Yeah, we have to agree with Victor. I feel like we can wrestle anybody in the world right now. So, I really think we can stand toe-to-toe with any tag team out there right now.
All right. Now, guys, talk a little bit about House of Hardcore. How did you guys get involved with Tommy Dreamer? How did you come up with House of Hardcore? And how did the whole school start? What was the whole plan behind it? And, a few years into it now, how's it going today?
Well, I gotta give the credit to Hale for the start of it. It was his idea to start it. So, just like the Now.
It was an opportunity because Vic had a building that was available to have to place a wrestling ring in there, and we were like, we could get a wrestling ring and put it in there and just train every day and just get better and better. And then we were just like, well, hell, why don't we just start training? Why don't we just start training people? And we both just kind of looked at each other like, yeah, but what the hell, we don't, not many people know who we are, and we don't want to be those guys that open up a wrestling school. People just like, oh, well, who the hell are those guys to open up a wrestling school? So we definitely wanted to give some credibility to the wrestling school and everything. So we just wanted to, reach out to Tommy and say, hey, Tommy, you got this opportunity here to open up a wrestling school. You want to get back to some people and see what you're doing. He was all for it, and one thing led to another, and then the Civic Center opportunity came about, and the rest is history.
My question to both of you really is, what's it like now to kind of see some of your students doing really well, essentially because of your training? So we know that Ben Ortiz is the first graduate, really, of House of Hardcore, and I know you guys both had a lot to do with his success so far. So how does that feel as you're no longer being the wrestlers, but you're really training these guys?
Well, I know for me, it's been definitely learning a whole different side of the business, and it's one thing to do it, and it's another thing to teach it. And I think that the opportunity to come to House of Hardcore and learn from three totally different wrestling minds, as far as me, Hale, and Tommy, is a very unique opportunity. That's not so many schools out there have that, number one. Number two, we are very protective about who you see on independent wrestling shows as far as a House of Hardcore student. There's just not a lot of, you don't see a lot of this guy came from HOH, this guy came from H. Number one, because you gotta prove it. You gotta want it. You gotta get through this, and you gotta make sure that you respect where you came from, and you got Tommy's name on you. Yeah, you got my name on you, and you got Hale's name on you, but you got Tommy Dreamer's name on you. So, if you get to the level of our student Ben Ortiz or Fluffy the Bunny, maybe even the same person, I'm not really sure. Speculation. But, to see a guy like him come through and do such a great job representing us in the school and having a great opportunity. He was one of the students that was with me at that SmackDown tryout, and he did nothing but have an awesome showing for himself. So him and CJ Mira put on, I think, probably the best match out of 10 matches that were at the tryout there. I'm a little biased, so, but it represented us very well. I was walking around like a proud peacock, pretty much. So, to see our guys get that level, and also we've been at TNA too. I was there with those guys when they were backstage at TNA on Impact, and getting their very first chance to be in front of the camera and seeing how the big show works, and compared to what we do at HOH to what they do at the TNA show, and then they got to see what they do at SmackDown. Our guys are getting the opportunity to see all of these things at all these different levels. We did a show last weekend where we wrestled in front of 20 people. You're at 20 people one week, and then we had a guy there's 20 people, and then next week he's in front of 10,000 people. So for me, it's pretty cool. It's a pretty amazing experience and a whole different part of this ride that I didn't know we were really going to get. But,
yeah, I agree. It's kind of surreal in a way, especially Ben Ortiz is really taken off. He's a real awesome talent, and he's going to go somewhere with this whole wrestling thing because he's just really dedicated. And you got CJ Mira.
Or maybe he'll be Chris Chetty.
What?
Or maybe he'll be Chris Chetty and have 20 kids and then they're going
Yeah, but like I say, it's cool. We put a lot of time in these guys, and one thing that bothers me about the school though is you have people that join. You put a lot of time into them. You get really excited because they're getting better and better, and all of a sudden they disappear, and they either have some personal issues or they just it was just too tough on their bodies or something, and that's unfortunate. But then you got the guys that just stick around that really love it and have a lot of heart for it. We got a new student. His name's Mitch, and I see so much potential in that guy. He goes there hard, trains hard, and I like to see how he's going to unfold. So it's just really exciting to see where they go and how they start and just see the progression. Really, it's real cool.
Sure. Now, guys, do you see a lot of students that come in? You touched on it briefly, but do you see a lot of students that come in and be like, "Yeah, I could do this," and then they don't really expect it to be what it really is. Do you get a lot of people like that, or is it do a lot of these kids coming in understand it?
Yeah, we get quite a few that people think it's all like falling on pillows and not really getting hit, and they get the big wake up call to a lot of people.
Yeah, I don't want to there's a lot of guys that their dream is like, I remember, my dream as a kid was just to walk up to a ring and touch the ropes. Okay, like the coolest thing I thought about WrestleMania 10 was the fan fest that they had in New York City, where they had a ring set up. You could actually walk up to it and touch it. Like, no shit, you could touch those. You could go to the ring and touch it. Like, I want to do that. Like, that was the coolest thing in the world. And then actually, if you go to a wrestling school and see a wrestling ring there. I remember when I walked into an abandoned bowling alley and there was a ring set up in the back of the room. They used to run shows there on every one Friday out of the month, and fans were only on two sides of the ring, but it was heaven to me. So people, I remember what it felt like to walk into wrestling school the very first day, and people that walk into our wrestling school, I get that it's their dream and they want to get in there. And some people, it's just their goal is to see how long they can last and how far they can go. Maybe they can get their first match. Maybe they can get a chance to have a first show. I would never want to think that, I don't want to talk shit about anybody's dream or what their goals are. Everybody does what they do. Like, just the fact that you get in there and you pay your deposit and you get in the ring and you try it one time, like, hey, was it worth my $500 deposit? Yeah, it probably was, because you have a story forever. But you come through there and you give it a shot and you see what you're made of, and then some guys surprise themselves. Like, the very first day I saw Ben Ortiz, I had the same opinion of him that everybody else does. Saying, like, what the fuck is that guy going to do? Then he gets in there and he does it, and it's the same thing people always thought about me. Like, what the fuck's that guy going to do? And then I go in there and I do it, and they're like, oh, that's what that guy does. Yeah, it's awesome, right? Something different. So when you bring that to the table and you're able to bring that out to some guys that have that different thing, because that's what we had. Like, when you see Hale, you don't think, wow, that guy can do that, but he does. So
I kind of think I look like I can do that.
Now, Hale, you just mentioned earlier in the interview that you were a huge ECW fan back in the day. What's it like that you're actually going to be wrestling in the ECW arena for House of Hardcore coming up in November?
Well, I can't lie. Like, it's not cheesy as it sounds, but it's a dream come true. Like, my first goal was always wrestle with Kid Civic there. I watched it. I watched it. I saw every ECW show there that's ever been there. I was always front row, just watching it. I got lucky to train with Tony DeVito for a couple of years. It was like I was kind of like a mark for him. So, like, wrestling in the Philly arena is just really surreal, and I really can't wait just to get the bucket list. You know what I mean? Like, it's just
don't be lame though. Don't be lame.
No, I'm gonna try not to be lame. I'm trying not to get shit.
We were there once. We did when we did the Acid Memorial show.
Oh, Acid Fest? Good.
Remember we did the Trent Acid Memorial show there?
Oh yeah, we walked out. We heard crickets. Yeah, we walked out together, and then we got the shit. You got eliminated by Big Vito. Yeah. Well, this is totally different. This is a totally different platform. This is
completely different platform. But just remember that day when we were walking around there. Holy shit! That was a weird day.
Yeah, but we're bringing it back, and it's really gonna be something special.
All right, Vic.
What?
As a business, how do you think professional wrestling is doing today? Do you think it's going in the right direction, or how do you feel about all in all, from the top of the top of the list, WWE, all the way down to the very bottom of local independent shows? How do you think it's doing as a whole?
The key to professional wrestling in 2014 is promoting. And you have to have people that know the area that you're trying to promote your show in, and then you need to know how to do it right. And professional wrestling on the WWE level has done so well on their end that the amount of things that everybody complains about where they drop the ball are the things that are just in a corporate world. They're making what they need to make, and everything else is just extra on top of it. The company will always sustain itself because there's that many people that are interested. I was just there. I saw it. Like, it's a well-oiled machine that's always going to flow and make money. So, the WWE level, it is what it is, and it'll always be what it is. But I mean, the professional level, there's a lot of guys that have a lot of heart, a lot of fight, and they're just trying to figure out what this game is. There's not a lot of veterans that are around anymore, and it's weird that I go into locker rooms now and I'm the veteran guy. And, I'm 32 years old. I started professional wrestling when I was days into my 20s. I was just 20 years old. So it was actually 19. So it's been a long time for me. Hale started as soon as he finished high school. The next month he's down to wrestling school. So it's weird that we're the guys that stuck around and we have had real lives and then mixed it in with our wrestling lives, and we've managed to mix and merge the two and still be relevant and still see the things that have gone on all the way through these years and the stories that we could tell. If we could ever get Hale to sit down and actually figure out what a ghostwriter does, we could probably write a pretty good book.
Now, I'm going to ask both of you guys this, so I think I know the answer already, but if you knew today that you were going to have to put in tons of hard work, possibly lose friends, get crappy paydays, would you both still want to be professional wrestlers today?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I miss funerals, I miss weddings, I miss so many things, but nothing got in the way for me to go wrestle. Nothing.
No, nothing. Not a single thing. Wrestling has been the big thing of my whole life. That's all I ever wanted to do.
I remember one time, Vic and I had up to Dr. Tom set up this, this tour down south for us to go. We were doing 5 different states a week, and we did it for about 9 months. And basically we just, hey Vic, I'm going to quit my job now. You ready? Yeah, I'm quitting my job too. All right, let's go. We just got in the car, had no idea where we were going to go live or anything. We just drove down south and just bummed it for 9 months, traveling to each show, getting paid lousy paydays. Some promoters stiff on us, and then we, treated them horribly after they did that.
You beat up a guy who paid you in toys.
Yeah, some douchebag promoter tried to pay me passing toys. What the fuck am I gonna do with toys?
What kind of toys?
It was a toy drive. It was a Toys for Tots benefit. And you had to give the toys away as the payday to the wrestlers.
What do you think? Because you're teachers now. Vic, you said you feel like the veteran now. As a teacher, though, do you guys, what do you think is the most important thing that needs to be taught at a wrestling school? I mean, is there just one thing that, you need to know this day one, and, is there anything that makes sense like that to where, these kids walking in, is there something that they need to know right off the bat that you have to pound it into their foreheads that, this is what we're doing? Yeah. Respect,
100%.
Yeah, there's definitely a bunch of things. I'm just trying to figure out why Hale's answer was 100%. Anyway, as soon as they come to wrestling school, they have to understand that professional wrestling is part of a giant business where there's millions and millions of dollars are made, and there's a game that goes on. It's called politics, and you need to learn how to play things the right way, where you basically need to know who's talking to you, why they're talking to you, and what your goals are. And you need to have the right people in your corner to give you the right advice and lead you in the right direction. And that's what professional wrestling is. It's a series of smart moves and, it's always decisions, decisions that people make and who they associate with and who knows things about their personal lives and like who they are and what they do and what they really believe and what can be held against you. And that's the best part of House of Hardcore is it's no politics, no bullshit. Here's the best wrestling that's out there, and you get to see the realest and the best guys.
Mm-hmm.
So with House of Hardcore's, it's House of Hardcore 7 coming up November to remember at the ECW Arena. You guys will both be wrestling, but also you'll get a chance to watch some of the matches. What matches are you each, I'll start with you, Hale. What match are you looking forward to seeing, or maybe just what performer are you looking forward to seeing? Now, you guys have House of Hardcore 7 coming up. For those of you who are still looking to get tickets, it's houseofhardcore.net.com, not .com. We've heard all about what can happen if you get on .com.
Have we, Jonathan? Have we really?
Well, I've tried both. I'll be honest. So, which performers are you guys most looking forward to seeing down there? I know that the Young Bucks are on the show, the Hardy Boys, Austin Aries. Hale, who is somebody that you're really excited about seeing in a House of Hardcore ring?
I see the Wolves because I haven't seen Eddie Edwards in a long time. I used to wrestle with him back in the Mike Sparta days in the early 2000s, and it's gonna be cool seeing him, especially the tag, the Wolves in action, especially since Vic and I go in that direction. So that's the match I most want to see right now.
Okay, Vic, who are you excited to see?
Geez, man, I'm just so excited to see. Yeah, it's a TNA show. I don't know what to say. No, I'm just I mean, what the fuck? You want me to tell you, I'm so excited for Ethan Carter III to be there? Get the fuck out of the ECW arena, you pussy. That's how I hope the fans treat him. No, I'm very excited to see Ethan Carter III versus Tommy Dreamer. Tommy's going to bring Beulah, and I hope that he beats the living shit out of Ethan Carter III and fucking throws him out the front door, and he lands outside with his fucking tan body and his stupid abs and the whole shit. He gets the fuck out of the building. I hope he doesn't change near me. I hope he's nowhere near me, and he's just as fucking phony as the rest of them that come to the House of Hardcore shows, the big dog, and Tommy's oh, we got to treat these guys real nice and do all this good stuff. No, yeah, I'm not excited to see Ethan Carter III. I'm not excited to see any of these dudes that are there. If you want to be there, you better earn it, because we helped create something where you got to earn it to be there. I pay my House of Hardcore dues every single day. I leave my family at home and go pay my House of Hardcore dues. What do you do, Ethan Carter III? Pay your House of Hardcore dues. Are you selling tickets? You selling that building out? You selling iTunes reviews? I fucking hope so, man. That's who I'm looking forward to seeing. Yeah, let's see Ethan Carter III. Can't wait.
Wow, that's
awesome.
That is awesome.
Nobody else feels the same way. I'm sure. I'm sure. I'm just a big dick.
Well,
100%, man.
I have to say that I think that this is something that maybe other promotions lack, is just the heart. Because, if you're WWE, you can kind of I'm not going to say you're going to skate by, but you've got your reputation. You're the biggest in the land right now, and TNA, God knows what they're doing, but you guys have this emotion, and I think that's what makes it successful, because you make everybody feel what you're feeling right now, and you are I guess I want to say the little promotion that could, but I don't want to sound too cheesy, but I definitely think that this is what sets House of Hardcore apart from the rest, is just hearing what you guys have to say like that.
Well, it's the truth, man. We gotta make these posters, and we gotta sell tickets to people to come to these shows, and I'm the bad guy, Vik Dalishus, and I think I'm Jesus Christ and everything, but what makes me fucking sick is that people want to buy wrestling ticket to come see these guys we put on the poster that have continuously, always been presented with the challenge to step up, and they habitually show up on these shows and expect to be treated like superstars sometimes. You're not a superstar to me. Like when we like these last shows, like MVP proved to me like that dude stepped stuff. That dude is like for real to me. Like he did awesome when he was on our shows. Like you want to be on the poster, you want to be included in all this stuff. So when you come to House of Hardcore, you bring it. Like you show everybody what it's all about. Like I can't wait for this show and everybody like to see. Like every spot is coveted this time. Like it's not like Tommy's giving away like spots on the show to anybody. Like we're in the ECW arena, and if you want on the show, you're gonna have to prove it. And every single guy that goes out there is gonna be like follow that, and it's gonna be that look when you come through the curtain and follow that. And that's a locker room that I want to be a part of. It's not all about animosity, and it's not about like just prove it. If you're Ethan Carter III, you're the guy that's number one. Like, yeah, you look great, man, but like, let's prove it in that building. Like, you earn your stripes that night. If you earn your stripes that night, you'll never hear shit from me. And I've always been that way. You earn your stripes, and you never hear shit from me because I know I've earned my stripes. Anybody that fucking doubts it, then fuck you. But like, earn your stripes. That's what's up.
All right, guys. Now, being I don't want to use the word, but being like an independent wrestler, being a pro wrestler, have you guys ever hit that low point in your career that you thought you were going to be done with pro wrestling, or does it just, is it something that's, it's your life, you just have to do it until the day you die. But, has there ever been a point, though, where you ever thought you just wanted to quit and walk away from it?
Yeah, it happens. Like sometimes you're really extremely disappointed with some of the outcomes. Like you go to tryouts and such, and it really doesn't does a number on your brain. But with this wrestling, man, it chased my whole life. It just always chases me, and it'll never leave. Vic will say the same thing. Like if you can't leave it, it just keeps chasing you, and chasing you, and chasing you, and like. It's just how it is. Once wrestling grabs you, it never lets go.
Mm-hmm. What about for you, Vic? Was there ever that low point where, just something happened maybe and you just, you thought you wanted to end your career?
I think as you grow up in wrestling, you learn you learn different perspectives, and you learn the things that make you, happy and successful, and the things that are acceptable to you for what you consider like a good career. Not everybody makes it to the show. Not every minor league baseball player makes it to the Yankees. Not makes it up to the main show. You don't always get there, and there's some guys who get a chance to have a taste of it, and there's some guys that get close, and you can't discount any of those people or any of those things that they've done because they all contribute to the world that we love with this wrestling thing. There's been times where I hated the journey and I was bitter and angry about it, but that just made me kind of who I was through what I've done. And
one thing
really hope that my perspective continues to change. It gets better. So,
and one thing for sure is when you pursue wrestling and you're in and out of it, and you just and you really strive to try to succeed in it. If you choose to, choose the other world, like what people would say the normal world, like the career world, like go to college, do all that stuff. It's not really that challenging, to be honest. So what wrestling does to you, and all the politics, all the nonsense, all the other stuff, it really, really prepares you for the world. And if you can survive chasing the dream of wrestling, you can survive anything. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense.
Of course.
Sometimes that comes out like that.
No, it makes sense.
Okay, so we've kind of went over, we've kind of skipped around and stuff, but going back to training and being part of House of Hardcore, when you guys see this new crop of people that want to become wrestlers come in, is there one thing that all the newcomers try to do that you guys are just you just hang your head, shake your head? Is the first thing they want to do is jump off the top rope, or?
As weird as I feel like they always get in there and do the same thing. They all get in there and have no idea what to do. They kind of like walk awkward and kind of like touch the ropes and like they lean on them. And like one of my first things I always like to go over is when they run the ropes. I just run the ropes how you think you should run them. Just my own. I pop myself, and they walk so awkwardly and hit the ropes. I'm like, man, that sucks. You waited your whole life to run the ropes like that. Oh man, this is just shit. And then you show them the right way and everything unfolds. But it's just I want to talk about them when they first see them. Right? Just see what their natural abilities are.
Seeing a guy get punched in the face for the first time is pretty fantastic. I always, if anybody, if we get a guy who's never been punched in the face before, we always ask the question, you ever been in a fight before, all that other stuff. If you get a guy who's never been punched in the face before, I always make sure that I'm the one that does it. It's not going to be another one of my students. You're not going to get punched by anybody else. You're going to get punched by me because I trust myself. But, when you see a guy get punched in the face for the first time, he's like, looks at you. It's like, wow. It's like that. And then they kind of decide, do I want to do this anymore or no?
Sure.
Lightning round.
Vik, your favorite musical?
Grease.
Grease?
Yeah, I'm confused by that.
It was the first. I went to dinner theater in Elmsford at the Westchester County Theater, and I saw Grease live, and that was my first one that I saw as far as like a musical. So that's what I went with my answer.
Okay, Hale. What is your favorite band of all time?
Favorite band. I guess what I have to say. Well, I would say Nirvana is the best band. I would probably Nirvana for myself.
Okay.
Vik, thoughts on Hale Collins?
I don't know, man. Like, he's the most misunderstood and also over-understood person that I've ever met in my life. He gets way more credit and not enough credit for the right and the wrong things all the time. I was the best man for him. He's right there next to me. We've gone through. It's weird, man. You live a whole life, and all of a sudden, like, you go through the journey with just like a few kind of people. Sometimes you get like a best friend, or you get a husband, or you get a wife, and like you only get one shot at this whole life thing. And I've spent a good amount of time with that guy, and as frustrating as it can be sometimes, he's one of the best dudes in the world. So.
All right, Hale, what are your thoughts on Vik?
Well, hey, this is mine. But it's pretty cool. Like, I'm lucky enough to, like, not to sound like, cheesy or whatever, but I'm lucky enough to find a guy that, like, wanted the same passion that I wanted. He's really cool to, like, travel with and everything. We were ups and downs on the road. We're like married, but not gay. So it's like, it's kind of, and like, I know everything about him. He knows everything about me. Like, I tell him everything that's going on in my life. He tells me everything that's going on in his life, and it's a fun ride to share with someone, because a lot of people don't really get that. They don't really travel through life and get to share every moment with the other person in a way. So it's kind of cool. And especially in the wrestling business, I can, like, if someone says they 100% trust someone in wrestling, they're fucking lying. but I 100% trust Vik Dalishus unless he has a chair in his hand. You know what I mean? So, but 100% trust until the chair is in his hand. I don't trust him at all.
Vic, favorite Poughkeepsie moment?
Standing behind the curtain the very first time before Cinderella Man played on the way to the ring. Oh, no, not the Cinderella Man. Well, I changed that. The Cinderella Man was good because everybody wanted to boo me real bad. But when we went out as the Now the first time, and we had cans with the rap music and the whole shit with the very first time we went out there and wrestled Robbie E and Romeo. Mm-hmm. That's got to be that was pretty much the best ever. That was awesome. And then that was the biggest baby face cheer I ever got. But then when I went out there for Cinderella Man, oh man, they fucking hated me at that time.
Okay, Hale, what's your favorite moment in Poughkeepsie?
Without a doubt, the ladder match. The ladder match was so fun. Because Vic and I are huge marks for the ladder match, and we always wanted to be in one, especially in front of our hometown. And we both looked at each other we're going to go out there and kill ourselves, and it's going to be awesome. So that was a real fun night, and we got to really show how sick our minds really are.
Both of you, Tommy Dreamer.
Tommy Dreamer is everything that everybody always says he is. He's the coolest, most honest, loves wrestling kind of dude you could ever want to be around. Truly wants the best for everybody. He does his best to make sure that everybody gets their shot. Goes out of his way to give you an opportunity, and just a real honest, awesome, good guy. It's very rare to find a guy like Tommy Dreamer, and very rare to find people who say the same thing about somebody all throughout their whole career. Tommy Dreamer lives up to it 100%.
Yeah, it's just sometimes I think about it, it's kind of surreal to me because as a kid I looked up to him in ECW and such, and I always thought he never, as a fan, he never sold out, he never went, and stuck with me. And then throughout my career, I got in contact with him a couple camps and such. I stayed in touch with him, and he really is he really is a straight shooter. He just tells you how it is. He doesn't really bullshit you, and I really appreciate that, because nothing worse than getting bullshit in wrestling. It's just a waste of time. And Tommy Dreamer is not here to waste anyone's time. If we're Vic and I are very fortunate to have that guy by our side, during training and such, just to get to pick his brain, see how it works, see how it ticks, and it's a great opportunity for us. But Tommy Dreamer is just a real dude. That's all I really can say.
Okay, so this one's for both of you guys, and I'm hoping that this isn't a complete train wreck what I'm about to do. But the last question is, when do you want it?
Cheap.
Yeah, I think that worked as well as I thought it would.
Cheap pop.
I want to change my answer. I'm most looking forward to seeing Kurt Hawkins at House Hardcore.
All right.
Lightning round.
Oh, come on. You want to see Lance Hoyt?
Oh, yeah. No, the Majors brothers with their tassels and stuff. It was good stuff.
Now, guys, we talked a lot tonight. We're going to talk a lot more in the days to come. But as far as social media goes, Vic, I know you're all over Twitter and Facebook. And Hale, I know you're out there kind of trying, maybe. Do you guys, want to give some plugs out to where the fans can find you and follow you and all that?
Yeah, I guess I'll lead the charge on that one. On Facebook, Facebook, you
tagging
can
you in. I'm tagging you in.
On Facebook, you can find us under our first name Vik VIK, last name Hale HALE. We share the Facebook, so like you can leave stuff on there. We promote from there. It's like the majority of all the people that know us pretty much go on there. For Twitter, you can follow me at Vik Dalishus, VikDalishus, spell it right, jabronis. I'm on there. I'm pretty much uncensored. It probably cost me a few jobs here and there. Hale _Collins on Twitter, but I promise no matter anybody who sent him any messages, he can't read them, can't go on there. Whoever tweets for him, it's somebody it's not him. I'm on Facebook as Vik Dalishus too. Hale Collins on Facebook. Oh no, he does post on the Hale Collins Facebook. I'll give him credit for that. He does have a Hale Collins Facebook. He knows how to post very easy. Hey, I love pizza. What's everybody's favorite kind of pizza out there?
Pepperoni.
It's a very valuable question.
Hey, guys, I do want to say that.
Of course, houseofhardcore.net.
Yes.
.com.
And at House of Hardcore, too, on Twitter.
At House of Hardcore on Twitter, all that good stuff. It's all on there.
Now, guys, I'm going to bring this up right now. Your trainers at House of Hardcore. Me and Jonathan Benjamin want to bring a video and film a video at House of Hardcore on what it's like to be a professional wrestler. And I think me and Jonathan want to step in the ring one day with you guys and see what it's like, basically. Would that?
You're in the ring and look around.
Could that happen? Could we do that?
Oh yeah.
I just want to get punched in the face by Vik Dalishus.
That's pretty much what I want to film. So I just we'll be happy with just. I think we'll be happy with just getting a shot of Vik punching Jonathan in the face. So I'll throw him under the bus for that. So.
Yes, it'll be fantastic. I promise that it'll be very gentle.
Okay, I can dig that. I want my whole tryout to be very awkward. I want to trip over the second rope whenever I come in. I want I want the full treatment.
When you go to climb over to the top rope, you have to step like 2 feet on the bottom rope, 2 feet on the middle rope, and then up to the top rope.
Also, we were going to bring Ethan Carter with us as well. I don't know if that's all right or not, but.
No, yeah, definitely you should bring Ethan Carter. He's totally underrated and stuff.
Guys, thanks so much for joining us tonight. It was great. House of Hardcore, guys, 7 in Philadelphia at the arena. Can't wait. Well, Jonathan, you heard it from Poughkeepsie's own Vik Dalishus Hale Collins, formerly of the Now, maybe coming back together as the Now. Stay tuned for that one. Great talking to them as always. Hope we have them on again soon because I know they have a lot more to talk about. We just kind of want to get out the word that House of Hardcore, ladies and gentlemen, is possibly happening right now. It's this Saturday, whenever day you're listening to it. Even now, if it's Monday, it already happened. But either way, it's happening this week. And House of Hardcore 7 in the ECW Arena down in Philadelphia, the 2300 Arena now it's called. Jonathan, this is going to be a great show, great time. If you guys are listening, let them know that you heard it on another wrestling podcast and that you love them, that you want an autograph, that you want to buy some merch, because that's what happens, Jonathan. That's how the world of the wrestling universe goes round, right? Buy my merch, and we keep continuing to keep on.
Yeah, I think that you should get on houseofhardcore.net and check out their upcoming shows. This is going to be the last one of 2014, but I'm sure they have some great stuff planned for 2015. And let them know, like you're saying, Credo, that you enjoyed the show. Tweet them, tweet us, and keep the cycle going.
That's right. At Limousine Riding, that's Jonathan over there. At Credo is me. If you don't know how to spell them, just Google it. You'll find it. But Jonathan, what a show, what a week, what a month. It's the November to Remember special month. Talking to House of Hardcore guests. Do you know who's coming on next week, Jonathan? I hope you do, because it's your show too. Damn it.
Well, I heard a little birdie told me that we're gonna have a pretty awesome guest next week, and he's none other than ECW, WWE, TNA, probably 1,000 other promotions that he's worked for, but none other than Al
Leaf
Snow.
Cassidy.
He is not going to be happy about that one.
Well, you got a bunch of names when you wrestle. Might as well throw out some of the good ones.
Avatar.
Yeah, that's right.
Shinobi.
Damn. And then he ends up with Al Snow. Wow. Can't wait to ask him about that. Jonathan, wow. Next week, the house. No, it's not the house. It's the month of hardcore, the month of ECW memories, the month of... We started it before the network, I'd like to remind everybody, too. We promoted our hardcore month before WWE Network did, so...
Are you saying that we were hardcore before hardcore was cool?
We were hardcore before we announced hardcore, that it was going to be the month of hardcore before WWE said they're going hardcore. So whatever that makes you or me, we were first to do it, I guess.
Yeah, we win.
That's it, right, guys? All right, we're going to have a lot more guests this month. Stay tuned. We want to give it away because I want to get you actually to listen to the next episode, right, Jonathan?
Absolutely. You need to get on anotherwrestlingpodcast.com. You need to go to iTunes, listen to our show, subscribe to our show, like our show, rate our show, review our show. Everything that you can do to our show, you need to be doing.
Do you know, I just realized that I happen to say your name during the show so many times. I always say Jonathan. What do you think, Jonathan? How about that, Jonathan? I just realized that. I want everybody to listening to know. So maybe if you can make a tally of how many times I say Jonathan in each show, we could tweet it, and maybe every time I do it, you could take a shot or something, or maybe I can make that onto a T-shirt. What do you think about that, Jonathan?
That's a great drinking game, and... I'm not condoning listening in your car while you're driving and drinking, but if you're at home, you're listening, you're got your friend next to you, and I think that could be a perfect drinking game.
That's right, guys. Jonathan, do you think this could have been the best show yet?
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to say that after listening to it, after interviewing those guys, I'm going to tell you right now that this has got to be the best show we've done so far.
All right, well, I'm holding it to you, so we better get some tweets out there and to let us know what they thought, because if it's not, we're going to have to try again next week.
We want to thank you for listening today.
We are an independent podcast.
Every week we create something for you to listen to, and it's absolutely free.
We are a wrestling podcast for wrestling fans because, after all, we are wrestling fans.
If you enjoyed the show today, here are some ways you can help us out.
First off, you can subscribe to our show on iTunes. While you're there, rate us and give us a good review. Why not?
If you're looking for more AWP, then head on over to anotherwrestlingpodcast.com to find out more about upcoming guests and where we will be.
Be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and buy an official AWP shirt from ProWrestlingTees.com/AnotherWrestlingPodcast.
We couldn't do the show without you.
So tune in next week for
Another Wrestling Podcast.